Hello, my lovely duckies, and welcome to the Boneyard. And as always, I'm your host, Caster. Now, we're going to continue our discussion of ReZero Season 2, and we're doing Episode 4 this time around. Now, this episode was a bit of a slower pace. We kind of been going at like breakneck speed, so now we kind of slowed it down a little bit. So when we left off, Subaru had went into the temple to help Amelia out, and he wakes up in Japan back in his bed and he gets woken up by his father. And so we're sitting there like, what's going on? Well, basically, Subaru gets up and, it's like nothing's wrong. Talks with his father, of course there's like a comedic bit with him and his father wrestling, and goes downstairs and has, breakfast with his mother and father, and, and we know something's wrong, but this episode we get a lot into Subaru's past and basically why why he is the way he is. And this episode is very very Kafka-esque, and I'll get into that in a little bit. For those who have no idea what the hell I just said. But anyways, we find out that basically Subaru has been was skipping school before we met him in season 1. He basically was just dealing with depression, and it got to the point where like he would skip he'd skip once a week, and then it became like every other day. And then he would pretty much he had been skipping school for like 3 months now. And so anyways, we find out, that he's basically just a big depressed mess. And so he has a heart to heart with his father. His father takes him out, to like go walk with him. And through the episode, different parts, Subaru clutches his chest. Something's hurting him, and we're just like, what's going on, And I kind of feel like it's like the witch is doing. I mean, obviously it is, but like when he tells somebody he's, his power or whatever, and then he gets like clutches his heart, that's kind of like similar to that, but not as intense. And so he has a heart with his dad, and tells his dad what's bugging him. And he basically tells his dad that he just feels inadequate. He feels like a loser, and that he's letting his mother and father down. We find out that when he was a kid, he was good at stuff, and that's the thing. His dad is basically a Chad. And so his dad's like really good at everything, and his dad's like super positive, and his mom and dad are actually pretty nice. Subaru says that basically, he felt like he could never basically live up to his expectations. He can never be his father, and things he thought that were, like running races and things like that, he would get in first place all the time, and his parents would be proud of him. And then he would start becoming in second and third, and eventually he just didn't care anymore. And he said he was good at everything, and then just slowly he starts to decline, and his grades start getting bad. This is like over the years, and basically it's just this feeling of inadequacy. He tries to fill the void by like basically being like this, this character, and it's kind of like how he is, in season 1. He tries to act like, I'm this carefree dude, and look how spontaneous and random I am, and look, I'm making a pose, and he did that kind of crap when he was, trying to impress people. And he kept trying to do like he would do all kinds of outlandish pranks and stuff like that to get people to like him. because he felt like he was not good at anything else, so he would just try to like basically outdo himself every single time. And he tells his father all this, and he says basically that he just, he feels inadequate in front of his father, and that he can never be him, and he's basically, he's really sad and feels like he's let his family down. And his dad basically just beats him over the head and basically tells you're my son, I love you. There's nothing that you can do that can stop that. So we get kind of like some really good, emotional stuff here. His father's just like, you're my son. Because Subaru was like, I wanted you to hate me. I wanted you to, tell me to get out. I felt like that would have been normal, but you just keep loving me, even though I can't, even though I'm a screw up. And I feel like that's, really a lot of people feel like, it's like I feel like I have no redeeming qualities, and why do you love me? And it's like, well, you're family. Of course we love you. Um, and we could all have parents like that. Some people were not that lucky. But and so he has kind of a similar conversation with his mother, and his mother pretty much tells him like, yeah, as long as you can be half as cool as your dad, that's okay. As long as be yourself. That's really what the message was: is just be yourself, and don't worry about trying to live up to not really your parent. Be the best you can, but don't try to live up to unreasonable expectations. That's what I got from it. Just be who you are, and find something in life that makes you good and what you're good at. Some pretty good messages, really. And he has like a vision of Amelia during all this, and he keeps saying he has like a vision of her, and he's like thinking in his head like, "Who are you?" Over and over again. "Who are you? Who are you? Who are you?" And then I guess he kind of like remembers because he kind of like smiles, and she's basically, giving him thanks and saying, how I can never do all this without you, and I think you're an amazing person, and stuff that she said to him before, and then he gets another vision of Rem. Oh, no, she looks so beautiful in this. I'm such a Ren fangirl. I'm sorry, or fanboy. I'm sorry. I love her so much. She's best girl. I love her. She's just so darn cute. And she just repeats the stuff that she said to him before, how she loves him, and that he's basically her hero. And it kind of gives him confidence that that these people, he doesn't have to be this larger than life person for people to like and love him. Which really, again, is a good message. Just be who you are. And getting back to the Kafka-esque thing, I think this is pretty apt. For those who don't know, Kafka-esque means, pertains to things, the works of Franz Kafka, who was a German writer in he was born in like the late 19th century, and he died in 1924 at the age of 40 through tuberculosis, I believe. And so you're about to get a little bit of a lesson here too. You didn't think you were going to get that, did you? So, anyways, Kafka, he wrote a lot of I want to say absurd horror, like a surrealist kind of things, things that don't make any sense, but it scares the shit out of you. Kind of like a fever dream, when you have like these weird nightmares, and then you wake up and go, "Why the hell was I scared of that?" That's kind of like his thing. But like there was this, like, he has one short story, I believe it's called like The Trial, and it's this guy is put on trial, and he's just savagely prosecuted for a crime that it's not even mentioned what he did wrong. It's absurd. Like, I think one guy, there's one story about a guy who falls asleep and he wakes up as an insect, and I think he gets stepped on or something like that. They're very pessimistic stories. And the thing about Kafka was I believe he wasn't. I believe he wasn't published in his life. I think people came and found his works after he had passed, and they found like all his letters and stuff, and were like, "Hey, let's publish these." So I believe he wasn't published in life; it was in death. And the thing about him is that he had a really inferiority complex, a very severe one, and he just really he felt very, very, very inadequate in front of his father. See where I'm going with this? Basically, his father was like an uber Chad, and he just felt like he could never live up to him, and his dad was like this huge alpha male, and he was basically a weak beta. And I think, I believe in a letter he wrote to his father. He basically said, I could never be anything because you're just so, you're this larger than life person. I could never be anything. I could never get underneath your shadow. And I believe his mother actually threw that letter away and was like, because she read it and was like, let's not send this to your father. So yeah, I mean, he kind of died pathetically, like just this really bad outlook on everything. Just really sad life when you think about it. I think Kafka's works are a bit overrated myself. I mean, they're not bad. It's just I don't think they're as good as everyone says they are. Like this masterpiece. But that's just my opinion. So, anyways, so Subaru basically deals through his issues with his father. Him and his father have a long heart to heart, like I said, and he feels more motivated now, and he feels more motivated to go to school. And he does, and he has like this, talk with his mother along the way because his mother walks with him. She says she's got to go to the convenience store, and they have like a heart to heart too. And he mentions that he's gonna have to be somewhere, and he also mentions like hey, I found some people who like me for me, wink wink. And he mentions to his mother, because I think this is where he starts to remember things. And he says to his mother, like, he's going to be away now, but I love you and Dad, and I think about you all the time, and I won't forget you. And so he gets to school, all right, and he's like, okay, we can do this. And he opens the door, and there's somebody in there, right? Da da da. And it's the Witch of Greed. Yeah, she's in the room, and she turns to him. She's wearing like a schoolgirl outfit, and she turns to him and she's like, "Huh? You're here earlier than I thought. Did you work out things about your past?" And then it like cuts to the ending, and I was like, "Whoa, okay, so this is where it's all going." So yeah, this is the trial that he's in. Oh man, so this is actually a pretty decent episode. A little slower, but still a pretty good one. All things considered, I hope you all love my little history lesson, and hope you all learned something. Since maybe a lot of you are out of school right now, maybe old Caster can teach you some things. Yeah, so I can't wait to see what happens next episode. Where this is all going. Man, this show, man, woo, I love it. Can't wait till next week, see what's going on. Oh man. But yeah. So anyways, I hope you had a lot of fun discussing this as I've had discussing it with you. And I can't wait until we get to discuss this next week. And don't forget to watch my other videos. And you know what? Leave a like and comment, and share the video. And tell me what you thought about the episode, and maybe where you think things are going. Now, if you've already read the light novels, don't spoil it for anybody. But let's have a little dialogue below, Dougies. So I'd love to hear what your thoughts and everything. So I'll see you next week on our next episode discussion, episode 5. So, like always, stay safe and be good to each other, Dougies.